call me fuego. 93 like me, fire in the sheets, spending summers on the sea. It's okay though, she know way home. Better life on the day.
So far so good. We've seen some incredible endings, and this, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Some of the endings, where, you know, as a viewer, you sit there, you go, oh, they were just kind of set in a position that doesn't feel as, you know, as high octane as it should be. I can't say that about a single game today. Some people had better circle position, sure, but every single fight so far has been arguably against odds. You've had, you know, 1v2s galore, you've had madness, and even in that last game, a 3v4 scenario, you know, it's been wild so far. And I think this just proves the elevation of gameplay coming out from some of these players that can truly turn the tables a fair amount. But what are your expectations now we come into this? Back onto Miramar. You know, I believe I don't know, the Genji name should just be carved into this map after what just happened. But what are your thoughts and expectations now?
I think my thoughts and expectations so far is that I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, it's awful to just instantly kind of shut that down, but I have seen some of the wildest.
Bail me
out.
Yeah,
it's honestly been some of the wildest and most fast-paced games that we've seen for quite some time. These end games where we anticipate teams can kind of just chill down, slow down, get ready. We've seen a 3v1. We've seen an abundance of clutch 2v1s.
A different picture altogether. They didn't, though, and they're still 4 alive. So, look at all the teams getting towards those vehicles. It's time to try and make that final stand compound, potentially, or wherever they want to call their home to be. Tiamba in their vehicles, running on past Oath, not going to make it too far. Already Linshen's going to lose life. You can see Balefrost waiting on by. Ada has a little look this way too, notes what's going on. None of the shots quite finding, but doing enough damage to keep them on point here. Buram in the feed. Now, I see Longsker still involved here. That's going to keep my attention pulled, but it's going to be FaZe on the move as well, coming up towards a similar location. Oath now warmed up, got the sights zeroed in. FaZe trying to get a little further ahead. That could be the depth of view. That's a little dangerous there. It actually makes it safely. It's Gustav to die on this. And AC as well.
This is T1. They're in the compound and most likely on top of the roofs as well. They'll have clear vision. All the smokes will go down. Everything will be committed to it to try and bring them back alive. But in the previous Miramar game, we saw their nades are so strong, they're so accurate. And FaZe is just being battered, beaten. Talk about kicking a man while they're down. In the smokes, everyone is just hoping they can try and pry the points away from them. But we know in this lobby, ultimately, points do not make the prizes. It's all about the win, and you need to be taking as many through to that final circle as possible. Na'Vi, next challenge is directly in front of them. For a Freak of Freaks, they hold the line. They hold the keys, ultimately, to Na'Vi's success or downfall. They have to get through this border patrol that's been set up by a Freak of Freaks. Can't overstep too much, because then all of a sudden VP gets a quick few shots in here and there. But the molly, the pre-molly, actually has been good towards Senya. That quiets him for all but a moment, and same could be said different side of the map. Boomerang, they work their way forward of this circle, but DXG is there to hold them.
Look, Buram still scare the life out of me as a team, because they don't play by the rules that have been somewhat defined. And there we go. You can see as to why. Canaxi finds the LT. And now I think it's just one left for DXG. But here comes that push. The timing's excellent from Orange. Maybe just hearing the pin pull or something. But whatever the indicator was, he works it very well. And now there's a step towards this compound. Na'Vi, yes, Tab's potentially bleeding out here, but a Freak of Freak's in a worse state. Oh, but the nade, the grand equalizer here, and the angle working well for Akad, making this incredibly difficult for Na'Vi.
You'd have to anticipate that a Freak of Freaks makes some kind of a push on this now. Maybe get the revive first, or just go for the 2-1 flush. Both teams will go into medic mode here. That molly, the preemptive one, straight through the door. It bangs Senya back on his backside. Peppered away from a distance, and we spoke about the third-party Besto. No rest for the Wicked whatsoever. Now they can push on this. Now they can capitalize on the advantage. It's a 3 versus 1 in favor of a Freak of Freaks. But Besto, well, there's one thing we know about Besto Lock. He can hap-handedly take these engagements single-handedly. Certainly not somebody who's, you know, pushed over rather easily, so you have to be careful. Zenith, again, a bit of a mixed bag. Plenty different angles upon them. Finally, they do go down. They leave the lobby. quite a few important fights for this, just mainly because there's I mean, apart from if you're not inside that center circle now, there's nothing really you can do about it getting on the edge. They are all fights for the edge. SONIQS is going for it, by the way, in the background. I'm glad we popped on for this, because this will be one of those...
Vehicles.
Yeah, they've kind of got to hope that VP fights against somebody and removes them, otherwise VP could have clear vision into this. It wouldn't be completely open altogether, but certainly if they've got nades, and the one thing that we know from VP they can throw very, very well, if they land them in those little ridge lines, that could spell disaster for SONIQS.
We'll see how they fare in this. I'm seeing FaZe looking for their option. Buram still doing Buram things out in the east. They'll be just fine, just fragging away, playing deathmatch against everybody, just trying to survive. Now, it's not without a reply. God Meow has been knocked. Now, again, they do suffer casualty, but they play such a high-octane game. It's, again, it may not get them to the end, but God, is it exciting to watch on the way there. So FaZe, Fuzzface just silhouetting on the top of that ridgeline makes it quite light work for infantry. Holding that compound still, quite comfortable in this. Virtus Pro kind of shuffling away. You can see FaZe almost going, you know, that clockwise rotation around this. Virtus Pro now do have a freak of freaks to handle. Now, I don't know how much vision they've gotten this, and Besto a mile behind, still being a bit of an issue, but there you are. Batulin's finding Hansia, and Hiruzen finding a CAD. This looks like EJ might be a last man alive, and he's still very preoccupied with the idea of Besto in that blue. Now, I wonder if he's going to be able to do anything about this. Buram's attention, though, gets drawn towards potentially T1. They seem aware of the player towards the top of this ridge. I may be receiving some shots. Yeah, they definitely have been receiving shots, because look at that insta-flush from Aqua 5. Going to take down Kanaxi, and now that's going to be Buram. Kind of reminded, no, people are definitely playing an elevated game here. Welcome to the lobby. This is a bit trickier today.
See one of them lingering in the form of Mamu, or certainly I did within the map. I was wondering if he was going to try and just cause somebody to fall on their sword. I mean, credit where it's due to FaZe Clan from being one person standing there at least here and they're at least surviving, but now they have no angles to work with. They also have no players to be able to get the revive. That circle is indeed rather brutal.
SONIQS are laughing, though. They've just picked a great position up. If that went away from them, they'd be screwed. VP are probably pretty happy too up in the north there. This is rough for Oath, T1, and Buram. They're in a hard position now in the east because, okay, you swing north, you saw the territory that Afrika Freaks were trying to work in on. It's really complementary to Virtus Pro. They get high ground to just ping shots off of. Now, somehow Besto's made it in. You know, I have no idea how, but he'll be living in the shadows as long as he can, unless he has to fight. Buram have a literal uphill battle. T1, they can shuffle the ridgeline, but then they're still all open to Oath, so it's like, I don't see a team cleanly making it out of the east right now. Infantry and SONIQS kind of left to their own devices a little. Tiamber as well, keeping quiet. But Virtus Pro could really pop off here. I feel like this opportunity on the eastern side could be theirs. We'll wait and see who goes where now.
Well, in the fields here, should be able to get this final kill, you would assume. No! Denied instantly from the opposing side. Dangche. 1 HP in a dream nade goes off. Balefrost left to hold front and center here. I mean, he's doing a damn good job of it, to be fair. Nope. He had a very valiant run, a very valiant effort, so to speak. Instantly, that is passed back to Bestelok. Tries to get out from the blue. Spyro spots him. It's job done, and as you mentioned, SONIQS. Like, right now, the position that they have garnered from this circle is just insanity. I don't really know how you get to them. Because it's all downhill, they, in theory, just pepper everybody on the approach. Unless infantry have some vehicles and hit them unexpectedly.
Maybe.
You know, just one of those flash-in-the-pan maneuvers that catches you off guard. Yeah, like, this is... You have to take the fight to them, right?
Yeah, because unless... Yeah, no, again, this is just, like, mad theory crafting, because this changed the dynamic drastically, because these Eastern teams could have had a really fair shot at this. But for now, T1 looking a little... Not necessarily lost, but they know the problem. They are hyper open to Virtus Pro, who can see this ridgeline super clearly. So this forces the fight towards Buram, who are just sitting and waiting patiently for that ridgeline to potentially have a player. And already there we go. You can see it as soon as the visibility came around. T1 managed to convert towards Brew with a little help from Virtus Pro, but now where did T1 go? Only closer towards Virtus Pro here. Batulin's going to force himself up a little further forward. He's got the big boy gun to come out to play with, so he might have a little crack at that. Got the mini as well. And you can see T1 struggling now. Star-Lord catching shots. Just dang shade to try and get that res off Batulins. If he had a nade, I think Lou's got one as well. That could have done wonders. And SONIQS here are just staying quiet. Infantry have showed a little. SONIQS are keeping their heads down. And now they get the circle. This is now primed for them. Virtus Pro looking to deal with T1 to now have to deal with that next circle, which is going to be a huge problem, keep in mind. And we'll talk to you as to why. There's the nade. That's done. That is done for. Bye-bye, Lou. Just mops them up. 10 kills. We said they were in the position to pop off if they wanted to, but sadly, kills don't equate to prizes. But SONIQS' position might be. Now, talk to me about these ridge lines. Talk to me about infantry. What are their options here? I'm seeing infantry and vehicles. You might have been right.
You've got to go for it. There's nothing you can do. While all this noise and action's been kicking off, SONIQS have been positioning the vehicles to set up, to receive this. That is absolutely phenomenal! What in the world was that? Bounces off the rock and just completely decimates Tiamba hiding behind the vehicles, and Batulins just keeps going.
12 kills now for the collective of Virtus Pro, playing the ridgeline like their life depends on it, which it might just do. But SONIQS still quietly wait in the background. They've received some shots. Virtus Pro on the mad send. They're trying to just get down this ridgeline. Batulins covering fire comes in, but SONIQS can see this. Tiggleton from afar tapping away with the SLR. It's going to be Lou doing well though. That's infantry gone. And now looking rough around the edges. Just how are Virtus Pro making this work? They are suffering casualties though. SONIQS using their cover very well. Nice smoke positioning to keep them somewhat safe. Now infantry just gone, swept aside. Yes, they have one member, but they are way out towards that old compound. This is now between the two. Virtus Pro looking absolutely deadly, and SONIQS in prime position. Now, numbers-wise, SONIQS have 4, Virtus Pro 3, and SONIQS have position on the circle. The problem becomes for Virtus Pro here, how do we work down from this ridgeline when we know we have to eventually? We stand out massively at this. We need the shots to land. 15 kills, Rich. This is incredible work.
And look at Mime applying the pressure just a little bit more. He's worked his way up to the most northern ridgeline possible to deny any quick... No, there is nowhere for them to go whatsoever. Even if they use the vehicles, they are open. If they walk across, they are open. They need some kind of ranger, some kind of marksman now just to bang out one of the SONIQS players and give them that small window of opportunity. You can't do anything else in this scenario. You need your marksman to step up to the plate. Look at all those DMRs. They're just lined up. SONIQS are ready, willing, and able to win this.
This is SONIQS' game to win. This is it. This is their exact moment to win this. They have the circle, they have the positioning, and they have Mime in a wonderful angle. Now, yes, he's outside of the new circle, but he is holding back the entirety of Virtus Pro, who've destroyed a huge amount of this lobby. 15 kills is wildly impressive. So now this is SONIQS on the verge of victory. They have to play this to perfection though, because you know Virtus Pro are looking at every potential option. You've seen the Molotovs going in towards Mime. They know he is a huge problem for them. But how do they avoid it? How do they get around this? I don't know how they can. Is there an option on that kind of southeast rotation maybe? I don't know. I don't know what they've got left, and the terrain is horrible. 6 smokes though. They could commit some to this, but it's still very hard to make this work. Now, Mime might be left to kind of rot in the blue, but he's going to force his way up here.
They've committed everything to him because, again, this was the only real way off this mountainside, and now he can let rip with the nades that he has. Be a nuisance. Be a complete pain in the backside. They're in the vehicles. They know it's time to go. The blue's here, and it will kill them. Full send. This is the last chance to dance for VP in this match.
The nades come out. They're ready. Tiggleton is there. He greets them with a smile and a couple of bullets as well. Up and over we go. Batulins leaps out. He gets one of the trade, but the nade comes out, and SONIQS secure victory.
The circle was hella favorable, but North America's #1 do qualify and advance to the grand finals. It's as simple as that. They had a fair amount of time. It was a bit of a send towards those ridge lines, but they positioned the vehicles well. The pressure from Mime. I mean, even in itself, towards the end, committing a one player to that specific, you know, area of the map, like, you know he's going to die. If he goes down, there's no revive possible. If he goes down, you then all of a sudden into a 3 versus 3, and the numbers are starting to even up on the side of VP. But still, the gamble is well and truly worth it. For VP, the gamble, on the other hand, for me, was sitting towards that compound on the ridgeline that comes down on the cliff face from the power grid for so long. Yes, we do get endings towards that roadside. Yes, those compounds can be absolutely formidable. But did they stay there for too long? No matter what we say, no matter which way we kind of draw this conclusion, one,